you've got to take that in with you, basically.
I take it in every time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they're scared of the Bible too, mate. I said, that's the best way to scare the hell out of them. When I had a 4-day trial last year, and I put that one side of the thing where I sat and that the other side, and I left it there the whole time. They lifted this and cleaned under it, and all my other books and everything, and they never touched this. It was all dusty underneath when I finished. They're scared of the Bible. Grown men scared of a book. What back of fleas.
Could you tell me what your phone number is, please?
0428
Yep.
38 22 97 or 99
Yep.
38 22 97. That's a phone fax. Hey?
You got cards?
No. The email address stickette.
What is?
Stickette, STICKETTE at westnet.com.au. Stickette because I'm called Sticky, my wife's called Stickette, and the kids are called Twigs. Starting a new branch for the family. You know, like, yeah, right. Heard it all before. Yep.
Wayne, I've been looking at the notices and sending notices to, I was going to start with the council, and just basically ask them for particulars on, do they have the authority under the Constitution, etc.
Are you got a property?
No, I don't.
You don't.
I just want to, as a starting point, I just want to sort of...
Your parents own a property?
No, no.
Well, the first thing anybody can do, like you can't do it because they're not contracting with you.
Mm-hmm.
Your rates notice actually is a contract. They send it out to you. You don't argue the value. You don't argue their authority on the rates notice. What you do is, well, I drive pig backside on it with a texter and send it back to them because I like upsetting them. It makes them sue me and then I can get it back at them in the court again. But I don't envisage you want to upset them that much. You can ask them for a full detailed account of what services they afforded to you to cover the value that they're charging. Yeah. And under corporate law, which they're under, they must answer that in detail.
Yeah.
They'll come back with all sorts of bull dust, send it back and say, I want a detailed account. I want to know what days you provided this so-called service. I'll give you a perfect example. The councils get paid to cart your rubbish away. They get a grant from the federal government. They get a grant from the federal government to do all the work on their roads. Yeah. The government is saying, oh, well, you get it off the people through rates and we can pocket a bit more money and send it to our friends overseas, but that's not on. They're going to have to go back to using the tax out of consolidated revenue to do all the things that they're supposedly doing now. The issue is, up our way, Colex collect our bin.
Yep.
They pay Colex 33 cents per bin per week. That doesn't add up to $176 they want me to pay. I've never paid it and I'm not about to collect my bin. And when they didn't pick it up, I just put it on the back of my truck, went round to the council, lifted it down, wheeled it up to their door, turned it upside down, went back and put the bin on and went home again. Well, the cops turned up an hour later and said, you've got to go and clean it up. I said, no. They received a sum of money off the federal government to dispose of my waste. They refused to pick it up. They've now got it. They can dispose of it. I don't care. I suppose I'm a little bit arrogant when it comes to that. But the fact is, they're paid to provide the service. If they don't do it,
well, what I was asking,
I don't mind dumping it on their lawn.
If I write a notice and say, do you have this authority to charge me for registering my dog, for example?
They don't.
Well,
does your dog drive a car?
Do I?
Well, why are you licensing it? My dog doesn't drive a car. They're not licensed. I've got 4 of them.
If I send the 3 copies and get it witnessed, etc., does that then create a contract saying that they have no authority?
Yeah, we ask them, can you please provide the information, the lawful authority to charge you?
Well, I can tell you exactly what they're going to write back. They're going to write back under the Local Government Act of 1976 or 1996. This section, we had the right to charge you for licensing your dog. This pays to pay for our rangers.
Yeah.
And you're going to get in a long drawn-out argument about nothing. Just don't register your dog.
That's right.
Well,
the last time a ranger come to my place and he said, your dogs aren't registered, I said, gee, you're pretty observant. I said, tell you what, when you see them drive out the gate, you give them a licence till then piss off, get out. They don't drive cars, they don't need a licence. I don't need to pay a tax on my dog. It is my land. I decide who resides on my land. I've got 34 frigging goats, which I breed for eating, and I've got a horse. Why? Next, they want me to pay tax on them too. I don't think so.
The methane gas.
Don't get me into global warming. That's the biggest load of crap. I studied physics and science, maths, English, and electronics. It's all a lie. Believe me, an absolute lie. And I'm not going to get into that argument.
Tacit agreement, yeah.
Well, look, the thing is, if you buy a dog and it's not licensed, don't license it.
He's not.
No, I wouldn't license it.
So what you're saying is try not to use the system.
Yeah, stay out of the system as much as you can.
Just say sovereign.
Comply to stop getting prosecuted unnecessarily until such time you get the knowledge to fight them.
Yeah. That's sort of why I'm trying to, as a starting point,
Yeah.
they're not, as opposed in the past I've gotten traffic fines and I've written back different things and it's just cost me a shitload of money. It's been a bad idea because I don't know.
You don't write to them because you're accepting that they have the authority to issue them. Section 28 of Magna Carta says no penalty can be issued prior to going to court. Chapter 3, Section 76 on the Constitution, page 791 says exactly the same
Well,
thing.
if you ignore them, it's not helping much.
No, but this is what I'm saying. You've got to learn your Constitution. Section 51, subsection 24 of the Constitution says no penalty can be issued to any person when they're not present in the court. What the hell do you think the fines enforcement are doing? They're taking your licence off you. The council is sending their bills in. They're taking your licence off you. But if you read Lane versus Morrison, I suggest you download that and have a good read of it. You'll understand that every judicial function is a court, and it states whether it's quasi-judicial, which is administrative, or straight administrative, is irrelevant. It is a court, and every court must sit under Chapter 3 of the Constitution, which means it must have a judge and jury, or 2 judges, or 2 magistrates. When I first joined the police force, we had a magistrate and 2 JPs sit on the bench because the magistrate couldn't sit alone.
Yeah.
Why do they do now? Because we just let them do it. They can't lawfully sit, but they do.
So if you went into court and there was only a magistrate there and you said, hang on, I'm not having this court heard because there needs to be 2 of you up there.
He's going to say, shut up, or you're going in the can.
No, but I'll say, hang on, it says this in the Constitution.
He doesn't care.
And
He
so,
said,
so then
well,
he
I'll
puts
tell
me
you
in the
what they
can.
say, because the egghead up where we are turned round to my friend the other day and said, the Constitution has no authority in this court, and he said, well, that doesn't, you don't.
So,
You know what he did? He said, well, I'm not going to adjourn this. He said, I'm going to remand this case, and you're going inside and you can sign yourself out to bail, so you can spend the next 2 hours sorting out your bail. That's what he did to him.
and what about if I've got 7 mates behind me, all standing up at the same time saying, no,
Don't go down that issue, especially if you're in the magistrate's court anywhere in Perth. You're going to end up inside.
well, I don't mind going inside for a couple of hours.
I'm not saying that. You're better off fighting your issues outside jail. Look, if this writ of mandamus goes through, which we know it's going to, we're pushing it through. Every person, there's no cost on a writ of mandamus. It's a prerogative writ, and it's a right under the Constitution. They can't charge you. That's why they're resisting it. But the issue is, you can go and do one. It's a simple form, and it requires a 1-page affidavit, which is basically says, in this case, Justice Wayne Martin was sworn in on this date and swore an oath of allegiance to the state and not the Crown. That's all you need in the affidavit. Now, none of the magistrates have sworn an oath of allegiance to the Crown. You go on the net and go on the Magistrate Court Act. It's all there for you, and it gives the oath. An oath of allegiance to the state. There's no such lawful entity as the state. The state is the people. The Commonwealth is the people. Commonwealth is the common wealth of the people.
Yeah.
I'll get started in banks, but you can leave that to another night because that's very involved. But the issue is, you have to learn the law. Start with the Constitution and learn it. Give us a ring. I'll tell you what pages to look up quickest to reference it for just general use, because there are some quick ones, but Chapter 3 is the best one to learn. That's the judiciary. It deals with everything to do with the court. Everything. And the rights you have. And if in the annotated Constitution there's something like about, I think about 140 pages on Chapter 3. There's a hell of a lot of reading, but it intricately describes every single thing and what it means. the framers of the